Is the smartphone triggers a product I was pretty skeptical about, but turns out they're not just effective, but also very inexpensive. There is zero setup, you take them out of the box and slide them onto your phone. And with a lot of top tier games like PUBG, there is an option to configure controls. And all you do is drag the response you want underneath where the trigger will lie, and then automatically the trigger will activate that response. And as I said, I was skeptical. I wasn't even planning to include these in the video, but it turns out they add a really satisfying tactility to games like PUBG. Take a listen to this. This is the Magni-Viewer, and we've had a look at a few products like this that magnify your phone's display before, but this is the best one I've ever used. And to start with, considering it's not exactly an expensive product, the packaging is incredible. Even the instruction manual is this glossy little silver pamphlet. I just really like the way it's presented. The whole thing is made of plastic. It feels a little unremarkable but nonetheless solid. And what you do is you open it up, and there is a little tray inside which you place your smartphone on and then slip it into the back of the device. And that's it. All of a sudden your phone screen is 2 times larger. And what I particularly like about this one is that you can even tilt it a little bit and it doesn't become too distorted. There's also a flap that opens at the side which lets you plug in earphones or any wired speakers you might want to. Welcome to the Marshall Kilburn II, a portable speaker that falls back on 6 key pillars. Over 20 hours of battery life on a single charge, with the ability to check your current level at any time. Powerful 36 watt multi-directional sound with backfiring tweeters as well as what's on the front. You've got Bluetooth 5.0 aptX and multi-host functionality, so 2 people at once can be connected and control the music. It's got Marshall's traditional roadworthy aesthetic and is encased in vinyl with IPX2 water resistance. There is sound customization with these control knobs on top. If you want accuracy, you can do that. If you want bass, well, that can be arranged too. And the last thing is the charging speed. 20 minutes of charging equals 3 hours of playtime. This is a fun one, and easy to dismiss as a bit of a novelty, but there are definitely cases where it could be very handy. It's a membrane keyboard that rolls into a shape barely a fraction of its original size, which means it doesn't really have any problem fitting into a backpack or even a pocket. And it's a wireless keyboard, so you have this little USB connection that you can take off, plug in to a USB Type-C adapter, and then into your smartphone. And that will mean you can wirelessly use this keyboard on the go to type documents up. And whilst obviously it's not as good as a mechanical keyboard, there's a decent amount of tactility here, so as long as you have a flat surface, it's pretty quick to type on. You've all seen these mini projectors floating around the place, and they are very mixed in terms of quality. But here we have one that isn't just inexpensive, but also works with your smartphone and produces a serviceable output. Visually, obviously for this kind of price, it's pretty simple. You just got a white body with this yellow stripe down the side. And it is tiny, it really is. It fits into most jacket or jean or jogging bottom pockets. And of course, compared to higher end projectors, there are compromises. The room needs to be pretty dark, the display size only goes up to 50 inches, and the resolution is stuck at 480p. But for a non-discerning consumer who just wants to expand the screen of their phone, this is one of the best cheap ways of doing it. Not too long ago on one of these episodes, I showed you guys a pretty neat little waterproof bag that you could place your smartphone in and it would be fully sealed against water up to 10 meters deep. Well, this one by MPOW has a similar functionality but also adds Bluetooth connectivity. So you download the application, pair it up with this bag, and all of a sudden you've got a remote shutter button. So even when your device is submerged underwater, you can take a photo or start and stop recording. If you've been watching this series for a while, you might know I'm not a massive fan of smartphone lenses. To me, they're one of those things that's kind of really cool in concept, but something I never end up using. Well, if you were going to take one smartphone lens with you, this might just be the one, because it has not 1, not 2, but 4 lenses in a single product. This little gadget has a 0.65 times wide-angle lens, or if you wanted to go super wide, 160-degree fisheye. In a similar capacity, you've then got a pretty okay 1.5 times telephoto lens, but then if you want to get a lot closer, a 10 times macro lens. Like most products on this list, the next one is a little weird. The best way of describing it would be a Time-Lapse Stabiliser. It is a compact, solid metal gadget, and what you do is rig it up to a smartphone holder and then attach it to a tripod. The bottom of the device is a rotating element, and all you do is rotate it to set a timer. And whatever time you set, that's how long your device will spend slowly panning around while it's on your tripod, capturing a moving time-lapse that you only really see in films. This next product is for the real gadget enthusiasts. If you're someone who owns multiple recent smartphones, or tablets or other devices that support wireless charging, well, this is a very slick alternative charging station. I gotta admit, when I picked it up for the first time, I thought it looked a little bit like something you might throw and it would come back to you, but even then, I think it looks pretty nice. It's low profile, and each of these 3 spots can wirelessly charge a device. Not to mention there are 2 USB ports on the top as well to charge those products that can't be charged wirelessly. Now, I have covered quite a few different devices in the past which have NFC tags built into them, but ultimately if all you want is that NFC functionality, they end up being a lot more expensive than they need to be, and just buying 10 NFC tags like this on their own can actually be really good value for money. All you need to do to set it up is download the NFC Tools application and then drag your phone over a tag to read it. And once that is done, you can create any kind of command. It could be triggering a brightness change or opening a certain application and assign it to that tag. And that means that wherever that tag is in the house, just placing your phone on it will trigger that outcome. I'd say they're especially useful and cool if you own a lot of smart gadgets. For example, you could even place one in your back garden, and placing your phone over it could trigger a change in color or change in brightness of your outdoor lights. This one is maybe the most wacky on the list. We are talking about a magnetic levitation stand. And having played with this for a while now, I think it's something which is cool to see, but at the same time not something I would necessarily recommend buying, except for one particular purpose. It uses an electromagnetic field to separate this floating base over the main body, and on this base you can place any object that weighs up to 500 grams. So if you've got a little potted plant, this might actually be a really cool way to display it. But the website shows it being used as a smartphone stand, which is why I initially bought it for this video, but this I would not recommend doing, because electromagnets are famously not very good for your smartphone. If you did enjoy this video, I've got an entire collection of smartphone gadgets content, so I'll leave links to that from this video. And as always, thank you so much for watching. My name is Aaron, this is Mr. Who's the Boss, and I'll catch you in the next one.